welcome back to Career Notes. I brought along my friend Todd Walker because we have both been looking for a job for a year.
And we're talking about it now.
We are honest about it, and hey, you know what? We have learned a ton.
The hard way.
The hard way. And that's why we're here to actually talk to you together. So one of the big things we learned is the fact that if you're making a career transition, get ready. You're going to have to learn new language.
Yeah, you need to learn what your transferable skills are and how that's spoken about in the career path that you want to go down. The terms are not the same. And so if you're making a career transition, whether it's marketing, communications, whatever, you got to learn how that thing that you do and you do better than anybody else, how that is expressed in the career that you want to go into. I found not only learning about that stuff myself, but hiring a resume writer, if you can afford it, it's a few $100s, made a huge difference for me.
And way worth it. And here's something else I learned though. I've hired a couple as my journey has gone on, and I've been refined exactly what I wanted. So some speak different languages than others. There's different coaching. However, I did start out with a much more on budget point, which was I asked somebody for coffee who was in the space I wanted to go for and had them help me with my resume in the words. So there are a lot of ways that you can learn about that language of the position.
The most important reason to figure out what that language is because I didn't know this because I haven't done a true job search in more than a decade, is that the way that your resume is read is totally different now. The first thing it goes through is a robot. It's not even a human.
Not a person! It's not a person!
And so it's looking for those buzzwords before it ever gets to a recruiter who may or may not actually know much about the job.
And the recruiters are really, really busy.
They've got dozens
of jobs to fill for, and it's not their job to be an expert about the job you're applying for.
Right, and so they may have a one sheet in front of them, and so they're also looking for those buzzwords. They may or may not have hired for that department enough to maybe know what your transferable skills are, but you've got to get through the robot and the recruiter before you ever get to the hiring manager who may have a similar background as you, who may recognize
or may not.
And so that brings me to the second point is be your own investigator.
This is super, super key.
Yeah.
So we actually talk weekly, and that's another thing I'm going to add into that. As you're investigating, maybe have a friend who you investigate with as well, because you can share who you found, right? Back and forth. The biggest thing that I have learned is investigating is it's not just the hiring recruiter.
Right.
And it's not just the hiring manager, but it's the industry, the companies that are doing well.
And the people on the team that may be your future coworkers, or you want to be your future coworkers. Scout them out. LinkedIn is amazing. Everyone's on LinkedIn, but also
Facebook too.
Facebook, pretty much every company has a contact us page. Find them.
Twitter.
And if you are having trouble getting past the robot and the recruiter, but you want to go right to the hiring manager just to say, hey, I applied for this, would love to connect with you, get on your radar about it, they may be able to recognize your transferable skills if the recruiter doesn't or the robot doesn't.
I've actually done that and had wonderful conversations.
Yeah.
Because I actually scouted out the hiring manager's email and then sent them a direct email just to make sure that they got my resume. And that goes to the third point that I want to talk about is follow-up.
Yeah.
It is king. Follow-up is absolutely king. So just because you apply, goes through a robot, maybe the recruiter, whatnot, you need to follow up. Who can you talk to in person that is at that company that actually might have a little bit of influence to at least get your resume in front of someone who can make a decision?
Because this is really crucial to you, but they've got 1,000 other things that they're doing. And so
you don't matter.
Yeah, you may get buried to the bottom of their to-do list. And you're going to get so many no's and ignored so often if you're making a career transition like we are, it's going to be so tempting to run back to your comfort zone of that old job that you had, but you got to remember why you left. There are so many reasons. Yeah, you made the decision. You remember how unhappy you were or how stuck you were or whatever.
Or you had no financial up as well, right? And so that's another thing. It's not just a career transition. This is actually if you're looking for a job, period.
Right. And Joe, remember why you wanted to go for that. It is going to be worth it in the end, but you are going to get all those no's. You're going to get ignored so many times. You're going to get frustrated, but stick with it. It's all those no's. That one yes will make it totally worth it.
And by the way, we're still waiting for our one yes, but we have one more thing to tell you, and the most important thing, don't stop hustling.
Yes, you gotta hustle. You cannot quit because one, the bills aren't getting paid and you're not getting that job.
So keep hustling, you guys. Make sure to comment below. We want to see a hashtag hustle, and we want to know one thing that you want to know about the hiring process. Comment below. You never know. We might answer it.
See you
ya.
soon.